Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode. You like that Dr. Dre reference right there?
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'm joined here by Cris Portugal. Did you say your last name right?
Yeah.
Ronnie is a guitar player for the wonderful tech death metal band Arkaik. You guys are fucking awesome.
Thanks, man.
I just got your most recent album, Dementia. Yeah, I feel kind of dumb because I haven't really heard of you, but I know you're a guitar player, Alex. I was like, holy shit, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
So, Cris, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico originally. Tijuana. Been up here since 2003. Then just been living in Reno. Doing the thing, going to school, working,
Right on, right
playing
on.
music.
Hell yeah. So, what made you get into tech death metal?
It's the technicality of it, pretty much, the aggressiveness of the music. And it takes a lot of practice and time to be able to get it down.
For sure.
It's one of those things, if you stop practicing, it's just going to go away. You can't just pick up the guitar and start doing it.
Yeah, like the standards for your craft are much higher.
Yeah.
That's what I love about it too. So, you're saying that everybody in the band basically lives in a different part of the country, right?
Yes.
So how do you guys like share ideas or like record? Like, what's your whole thing for that?
All through the internet, pretty much. I just joined the band last year. It's basically a whole new lineup. The last album was written by Greg Paulson. Then he left the band, what was it, December, January?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there I took on, so the next album is going to be us. But the way we've been doing it so far is just sending files through Facebook, internet. That's the key right there.
Hell yeah, man. Especially in the last, 20 years, the internet has proliferated metal. Because, I'm sure a lot of your influences come from Norway and Sweden and...
It's a lot of European and
yeah.
Canadian ones, too. That's basically where, like...
Oh, yeah, dude.
tech
Cryptopsy is...
Oh, man. Insane.
But, so, who is your favorite guitar player? Like, who do you draw a lot, like, your most influence from?
Man, well, I'm a huge fan of John Petrucci, but as far as influences go, it's a lot of Infinite Annihilator, Decapitated, Cattle Decapitation, and a lot of Meshuggah, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Really
So,
heavy stuff.
My go-tos.
So, you said you grew up in Tijuana, Mexico, right?
Yep.
So what was it like growing up there as far as, I grew up in a very rural area of Kansas where it's very, very devout Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And me and a couple of my friends, we were super into like Demubor gear and Cradle of Filth. Like a friend of mine, he had this shirt that had a nun masturbating with a crucifix from Cradle of Filth. It said Jesus is a cunt, right? We used to get kicked out of places for wearing shit like that.
Oh, I can imagine, man.
So what was like the consensus in Mexico where you're from about that sort of stuff?
It's very religious. And I wasn't really into metal when I was in Mexico. I didn't discover it until I moved up here. But that's mainly because my parents were trying to keep me away from that.
Yeah.
They basically considered metal like the devil's music. Now their opinions have changed, but back in the day they were pretty strict about it. Like, just don't listen to that.
Yeah.
The only thing I had to go to metal was MTV. And back then, when they were playing metal videos, like they had,
Yeah.
remember Napalm Death?
Oh, yeah, they had the Headbangers Ball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I got most of the metal from. And
Jamie Josta.
yeah, back in the day, but he's got a podcast now too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's crazy. Everybody has a fucking podcast.
Yeah, right? But no, it's cool. But yeah, it was pretty strict, a lot different from over here. And like TJ was a really big city, so I wasn't able to get out too much. I was still pretty young. I moved up here when I was 13. So.
Oh, really? Right on.
Yeah.
So you've been in Reno since you were 13?
Mm-hmm.
Right on, right on. So how did you get hooked up with Arkaik?
I played with them at Shays with my other band, Enslave the Creation, about 2 or 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they only had one with guitar player, and Greg had asked me to come join them. I was going to try and do an Arch Part tour before the, Altar Beast tour we did with Inanimate Existence in September. Mm-hmm. But that didn't pan out. And then Enslave kind of parted ways for a bit. And that's when I went online just kind of trying to find someone to play with. And I hit Greg back up, and I was like, hey, man, are you guys still looking for a guitar player? I'd like to audition, and then here we are.
Hell yeah. Yeah, a couple of friends of mine and I, when we were, 18, 19, we moved to Phoenix to basically find the metal scene. You know, I went down there for music school,
Nice.
but we found everybody on Craigslist. Like it was,
Man, that was like before the MySpace days.
yeah. Well, it was
Right
like,
around there.
yeah, it was like MySpace was still a good way to like get your music out there, but as far as like finding musicians to jam with, it was all pretty much Craigslist what we used too.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's actually how and my buddy Andrew found Alex Haddad.
Nice.
And we used to play shows in our band, Depraved Heretic, down there.
Dude, that's so
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah.
Dude, it was funny how I saw that Singularity shirt. I was like, man, I've never seen that in Reno.
Yeah, yeah.
I was listening to some of their pre-production songs. Dude, it's gonna be so fucking sick.
Yeah, yeah. So their like main guy Jack, I found he has a Twitch channel where he basically transcribes like Nintendo or like video game songs,
Yep.
and he has like 100,000 followers or something.
Dude,
like
it's amazing. That guy is such a good guitar player.
yeah,
It's
and
insane.
he has the sweet Kirk Hammett like ESP standard series. So I
Right?
love that too.
Dude, those, just a six string, man. That's all you need.
Yeah, for sure. So have you gone on tour with Arkaik yet?
Yeah, I've done 3 tours. I started last year. It was, I think, August, September, or September to October. I think it started in September. I was a fill-in, then I ended up joining the band early this year. But we did another tour like 3 weeks after that Alter Beast one got done with Exhumed. That one was so fucking cold.
Hell yeah.
It was midwinter. We got pretty lucky. It didn't snow or rain pretty much anywhere. If it was rain, it was a little bit, but the roads are pretty clear.
Yeah.
And then we did Devastation on the Nation. That was really sick. I was kind of nervous because it was a Border and Psychroptic. Those have been 2 of my favorite bands for days. And then the first time I get to see them was on tour. So it was crazy. Dude, meeting them, I was fucking, what do you call it? Like starstruck for a couple of days.
It was super surreal when you're like a fan of them. What's the biggest show you've ever played?
There was 2. The second one on Devastation was in Montreal. Dude, the crowd, as soon as we go out, is just packed. Like,
Yeah.
Canadians fucking love death metal. Both of the Canada shows were insane. But that one in particular was one of the bigger stages I've ever played for, and it was a room full of people. It was fucking surreal. And the craziest thing, I was shaky already, and the bass, the subs that they had on that stage were really good, so everything was shaking. It was so hard to try and keep it straight, keep it together, and still put on a good show.
Hell yeah.
And then the other one was towards the end of the tour in Los Angeles. I think it was a Saturday at the 1720 Club. It's one of the biggest places I played, but it was insane. The crowd was crazy.
So what's the craziest thing you've seen go down in a crowd during a show?
I think it was that LA show. Once this Entomb started playing, just shit started going crazy. I think during their set, there was a stage dive like every 30 seconds. The stage manager had his jump cut out for him. Fucking Chad, every couple seconds just catching people left and right, just saving the gear, throwing them back on the crowd.
Yeah.
But that one was pretty intense.
Right on. So that's like fans as like a whole, you know, you're up there on stage or like circle pitting, stage diving, going fucking crazy. But what about like individually one-on-one? Have you ever had anybody come up and like, oh my God, like?
There's been a few people. So with Enslave, I was putting out some videos. So there's a few people that come out to me in different shows like, dude, I've been following you since blah, blah, with Enslave. It's pretty cool. But most of the time it's not like fangirl status. It's just
Yeah.
you see a lot of doppelgangers. And the cool thing about that is you can relate. You're like, oh, you're kind of like one of these friends. So you just click right there and you start bullshitting about metal and whatever else comes up.
For sure. So one of the studies I was reading for this research project talked about the response listeners have to metal when it comes to arousal and anger. So basically, they took metal fans and they took country music fans and made them listen to each other's music. And country people really, really don't like metal, and metal people get really, really angry when they listen to country, according to this study. But
I can relate.
yeah. So as far as like genres outside of metal, do you have any other types of music that you're into?
Listen to a lot of like old gangster rap.
Oh, word.
Kind of like NWA, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. But I also have a lot of reggae.
Okay.
A lot of the Marleys, like Slightly Stupid. A little bit of ska here and there. But yeah, that's about it.
Right on. So, what is your opinion of country music then?
I don't like it. I do love Hank the Third
Oh yeah, yeah.
or like Johnny Cash, that type of.
You like the real outlaw
Yeah,
country?
yeah.
Word, me
but
too.
pop country just really
It-
sucks.
it's garbage. you
Yeah.
know?
Dude, it's the same thing over and over. Like, have you seen those mashups on Facebook where they put like the top country song of each
Yeah.
summer, and it's the same
Yeah, like
progression,
yeah, exactly.
same chords, like same lyrical structure. It's just
It's just like it's manufactured just for the demographic, you know.
yeah,
Yeah, I've been really into so I grew up in Kansas like on a farm, so country music was everywhere. So it's
Yeah.
still kind of like ingrained in my DNA. So like guys like Sturgill Simpson, I don't know if you've heard of him, or Wheeler Walker Jr.
no.
Yeah, it's maybe I'll turn you on to him. You know, it's a little bit of a newer outlaw country. But,
All right.
yeah, yeah. So so as far as I don't know, is you guys trying to in Arkaik convey any sort of like social message or anything besides brutality? You know.
Well, the brutality is just for the music. That would be a really good Jared question.
Yeah.
He's the man behind the scenes making everything work.
Yeah.
But he's really about like just like a spiritual being, like putting out good vibes out to the world so you get good vibes back. Like the music's aggressive, but it's not about projecting like a mean and tough guy attitude. Yeah, that's about all I have for that.
Right on.
Like I said, that'd be a really good Jared question.
Cool. So, you know, like back in the early 90s, there was a lawsuit against Judas Priest because two like teenage boys, they're like, oh, we're going to go kill ourselves.
Yeah.
So they like sat crisscross applesauce from each other.
Wasn't
like,
that here in Reno?
Was it here in Reno?
I think so.
Oh, wow. I guess I should
It might
have.
have been the Slayer one. I don't know. Maybe I might be wrong.
But they, you know, they like sat across from each other and had a shotgun, and one kid blew his head off, had a shot, and then the other kid like tried to blow his head off, but the second kid missed. Well, like he missed like half of his face.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fucked up.
Yeah. But then the parents tried to sue Judas Priest, you know, and they're like, so your music is telling our youth to kill themselves, and then Judas Priest's response was, well, that's very problematic. Business model as a band and trying to have fans,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, the way I'd explain it to someone who doesn't listen to metal, it's like a horror film. It's just a form of art. You don't have to take it seriously. Like, just because you see a slasher movie, you're not going to go slashing people.
Exactly.
It's like you can't take it too hard when it's like the gore metal or something like that. So it's more of an art form. It's just in music. It's just like a horror film.
Yeah. You know, there's another thing with PC culture and all that just garbage that is going on today.
There's PC principles everywhere, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it just it seemed like the other day in one of my classes, the professor was going around, you know, if somebody uses racist humor or something like that, I shut it down and I try to humiliate them immediately because, like, there's no room for it. You can't even joke about it. And me being, you know, Navy veteran, I was like, I don't agree. Like, and then everybody just, like, stops in class and like, oh, shit, here goes somebody trying to defend, like, racism, you know. And I'm not saying racism is good. I'm just saying if we pretend like it's not real, you know, it's like,
Just
what
sweep
is
it under
that?
the carpet.
Yeah, that's not reality, you know.
Yeah.
Like the best way to bring out like shit like that is to joke about it, which I feel like metal does that a lot. Where, you know, especially bands like Cattle Decapitation,
Oh, yeah.
where they're super political about, you know, like veganism and that kind of jargon. But
No, it is crazy. I don't think in metal there's too much PC. Like, people are polite. You do have your assholes in every group, but
yeah.
it's like I don't see a lot of PC within metal.
Well, also the culture is too, like everybody is like super stoked that everybody else.
Yeah, it's just like, don't be an asshole. Just come in, have a good time. If you want to mosh, just see someone on the ground, pick them up.
Yeah, for sure.
Comes down to just don't be a dick.
How about shows you've been to as a fan? Is there anything like particularly gnarly that's gone down in a mosh pit?
Fuck. The first time I saw Meshuggah was for their 25th anniversary. And I'm sitting there with my buddy Mike, and it's all dark. And the only thing that I can think, I'm like, I just want to enjoy the show. I don't want to be in the mosh pit tonight.
Yeah.
As soon as this started playing, we're in the center of the fucking pit. And dude, trying to get out of there, we just got stuck in the circle pit.
Yeah.
But then after that, dude, it was one of the best shows I've ever seen. They're so on point as far as lights, sound,
Oh, yeah.
everything. That show blew me away. Just make me want to go home and play more guitar.
Yeah, that's another great thing about metal. Like, whenever you see, like, a great performance, like, man, I need to, like, go practice.
Yeah, exactly. I hate it when people tell me, "Oh, dude, you make me want to quit." I'm like, "Why would you want to quit? Like, just
See,
fucking play more."
that's a sort of negative attitude that people need to just drop. You
Yeah.
know? So I think, because you also work as a personal trainer, right?
Yes.
So how do you think, like, lifting weights and, like, being fit, like, works with you being a metal musician?
Well, like with tech metal, you have to practice your music in order to stay at a certain playing level or ability. So if you stop practicing, you're not going to be able to play as fast or clean as you did a couple weeks ago. So same with training. If you're trying to lift a certain amount of weight and you stop, you're going to get weaker. So it's going to set you back even more. So the more time you say, "Oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it later, I don't want to do it right now," the longer you're going to stay at that just okay or just shitty level. You're never going to get any better than that.
Yeah.
So, like, there's times where I stop playing for, like, 2-3 weeks, and then I have to go back to just running a scale, like, up and down with the metronome. And it takes about a week or two to get the speed back, but once you get it back, you're on track.
Yeah.
But you have to practice an X amount of time every day, at least to make you progress a little bit more the next day.
For sure, you got to have that regimen.
Yeah.
So what is your practice regimen like?
Whenever I can. I have 3 jobs right now. I'm going to school part-time.
Word.
So between jobs, in the morning to my training job, I have like a 12 to 3 mark.
Yeah.
So I do homework, try to get it done as quick, and then whatever time I have left, I'll go for guitar playing.
Oh, right on. So as far as, I mean, like, I know a big thing when I was learning how to play guitar, my friends would stress the importance of using a metronome. Would
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I grew up playing drums and drumline, and they always had this giant metronome called Dr. Beat. And you'd have nightmares about that thing. Just they put it behind you until you got it clean. But the cool thing about that is when you're trying to play triplets or 16 notes or change between rhythms, it helps you stay on track and keep that pulse going.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, without the metronome, you're never going to know what tempo you're playing at, and it's going to keep going up and down, up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to have that solid click behind you.
Yeah, for sure. That was one thing back when I was still trying to be like a guitar player guy. It's like, okay, I have to use a metronome. I have to work on my scales, technique.
It takes some time, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like, you have to have, like, I had to have, like, a structured, like, practice regimen, or else I was just wasting my time.
Well, that also helps with not living in the same city. Because what I'll do is, like, when I've been writing the songs right now, I'll write them on Guitar Pro or tab them out, and that's why I learned the other songs from the past albums. Jared has all the tabs for the albums.
Yeah.
So we just learn them, play to the CD, and then we have a click track that goes along to the CD. So you just show up, practice for a couple of days, just work out a couple trouble spots here and there, and then you go and play some shows.
So how often do you guys get together before you go on tour?
Last couple of times, it was about 3 days to about a week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So do y'all try to, like, meet up in Santa Cruz where Jared is, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah. Last time, Nate and Alex drove over there. I got dropped off there, and then Riley, he actually missed his flight. The first one, he passed out, and then we just hung out in San Francisco waiting for him. Flew in from Canada, and then went from there.
Right on.
No, we got a good, solid group of people right now.
Yeah, man. I know Alex personally, and that guy he's a prodigy.
Dude, he was insane. He learned like a song a day, and it was clean.
Yeah.
It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I remember the first time we jammed, he was just like, yeah, let's, we're like, what do you want to start out with, just a warm-up? He's like, necrophagist. I'm like, what do you mean that's a warm-up? You are a real piece of shit.
Yeah. You suck, man. I got to go back to the practice room. But, yeah, dude, he was fucking really good, really clean.
Super humble, nice guy, too.
Oh, yeah.
I like it.
Dude, everybody in the band is super humble.
And that's another thing I find is common with tech metal bands,
Yeah.
And everybody's so supportive of everybody. It's really cool.
Well,
So
it's a good thing to do. Just if you like the music, support it.
yeah, and that's another thing. Like you're not gonna get famous or Justin Bieber status playing metal. So
You can't go into death metal, especially technical death metal, thinking you're gonna get famous or like rich and all this shit. You really have to do it because you love the music. Like that's a good thing that about my personal training job. They let me go on tour and come back, and I still have my job. I do have to build more clients back up, but it helps. You have to have some other source of income, at least until you can make enough with the band touring and with merch sales that you can sustain yourself. But
yeah,
you can't have that image in mind. If you're playing metal because you're trying to get famous, you're just gonna
yeah,
you're gonna hate it, and it's not gonna work out for you.
yeah. That's kind of a. I think for anything you're trying to do as an artist, having the mentality that I'm doing this because I want to be rich and famous. I think
Yeah,
that's kind of a problematic
it's
stance
just
to have in the first place.
like you might have a couple people that can do that, but you're not. You're not gonna be able to feel it in the music, especially if you're the only writer or you're the one writing the music, not the only writer. But because you can tell in the music, like you're either gonna pull your heart and soul into it, or it's just gonna be some like standard riffs thrown together for like some radio song, like pop shit.
Yeah. So how have the digital advancements in recording really helped you? And like basically, what is your recording setup for right now?
It's pretty ghetto. I'm not the best at recording. I've been trying to learn a little bit, but I have this 11 rack, and it hooks directly into my computer, so I don't need a DI box or anything.
Yeah.
And I can record I use that thing for live playing as well. I just go DI into the PA, so I have the same tone that I record with,
Oh, okay,
that
cool.
I play with. But it makes it really easy because I use FL Studio and just record something, write some drum switches for now till Nate gets onto the kit. And it's cool because you can listen to the songs before they're done. And that way you can write. I'll send what I started with to Jared, like, what do you think of this? We'll say, like, oh, I'll put a chunk part right here, like, do some sweeps over here, put a breakdown here, or, like, change this part for this part.
Yeah.
And you can really structure the song and hear it come to life as you're working on it instead of trying to just to ride by guitar or, like, on Guitar Pro, just hearing those MIDI notes.
Yeah. So I imagine recording metal would be much harder if you had to use the 30 years ago when they had to use tape, analog tape, and then like cut and splice, and then I couldn't even imagine trying to piece together like a tech metal song.
That would be pretty insane.
And plus, you all have to be in the studio. You don't have like drum machines where you can easily just write.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody can fuck up. No, that would make it a lot tougher. Because at least now you can have like Nate record where he's at, and then have Riley record where he's at, and just guitars can send either record your own tone or send a line in if you don't want to go to a studio.
Yeah. So do you guys record your finished product in the studio, or?
In the past, they have. I don't know how we're going to do it right now. Jared's been trying to build a studio at his house.
Okay.
He's getting pretty close to it. So if we go that route, we're just going to go to Jared's studio and do that. But as far as vocals and drums, definitely with an engineer.
Oh, yeah.
With guitars, I think you can get away with it a little bit more. You can, like I said, just record the line in and then send it to a studio and reamp it.
Yeah.
Or just record the tone that I have on there and put it on there and then have someone master it.
So what label are you guys on?
Unique Leader.
Okay, and so what do they kick in for recording and stuff, or is it just basically distribution they help out with?
No, they do both recording and distribution, I'm pretty sure. Or distribution and recording both, but I don't know how much they kick in.
Okay.
'Cause, the last album with Greg, I wasn't on it, so I don't know what the deal with that was.
Okay. So is it basically you guys write an album and send it to them, and then it kind of goes from there, or?
I'm not sure, actually. I don't know how all that works quite yet. I'll
Right
find
on.
out pretty soon.
Right on. Well, as far as like Arkaik merch or your guys' albums, like how can people get your stuff?
We need merch.com. Where's the other one? I think we have some on Mercenary as well. We have a bunch of things on our Bandcamp. That's where you can get the tabs and the CDs and everything.
Oh,
You can
wow.
also visit the Unique Leader page. But you can find all the links to that at our Arkaik Facebook or the Instagram.
Right
That's
on.
spelled ARKA. with K's. Okay.
Right on, right on. Cris, thanks for doing this. I really appreciate it. And
no problem, man.
do you have anything for all the my tens of fans out there?
Just keep an eye out for that Arkaik album. Hopefully we'll be in the studio in January and then have it done and out by late next summer. But go check out our Facebook page. You can go to iTunes and listen to the CDs. Just type them in, and there's 4 right there for you to listen to.
Right on. And my last question is, as metal's been growing in the last few decades, starting, a lot of people can argue that it started out with like Black Sabbath, back in 1970 when they released their debut album.
Mm-hmm.
Where the metal scene has came from, where do you think it's going?
Shit, I don't know. There's so many genres happening. It's just spanning so far out. Hopefully, like the scene as far as the Reno area goes, it starts growing a little bit again. But there was a lot of bands at some point, and then it started kind of going away, and now it's building back up a little bit. But as far as where it's going, it's just every fucking direction.
Yeah, man, for sure. That is for sure. It's crazy that it's like a relatively new genre.
Well, with that, like as far as metal, you'll hear a lot of like, oh, is this tech or is this prog or what is it? Like, it's just fucking metal.
That's the same wheelhouse I'm in too. I'm tired of I'm more of a metalcore, post-progressive,
what
sludge.
the fuck, man?
No, dude, you can tell when you listen to a band, okay, this is a metal band. These guys, I knew some fellas that were into hip hop, but they had they were hardcore fans, also. So I'd play them something like The Faceless and be like, this is the kind of metal I'm into. And they'd be like, oh, here's this band. But it was like a drummer and a guitar player. They wore costumes, and it was complete garbage bullshit. I'm like, this is not music. This is not metal. This is just a couple guys making noise. They're clearly not practiced or take any sort of pride in their craft. That was my opinion anyways.
Well,
but
I feel like that type of shitty metal is what people that don't listen to metal usually see first, or what think metal is. Until you show them some metal band that actually structures their song and has just a really good writing and playing ability that just happen to play extreme death metal. Sounds like they're like, oh, what?
Yeah. Or, the satanic off-putting allegory of some of it. Because I know bands like Dimmu Borgir, they played shows with the London Philharmonic and the Czech Philharmonic and recorded these amazing live performances, but they have songs like Spellbound by the Devil, So, but hopefully it'll keep going in a positive direction. Hopefully the scene will keep speaking for itself via its talent and musical abilities. And once again, Cris, thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, peace.